Now, when it comes to Gemini and when it comes to Sagittarius, compatibilities. Now, Gemini is mutable, adaptable, and their own ways of thinking and communicating. Of course, they can express this by coming down to earth and being subjectivity, aka with other people, places, and things. Also, compatibilities is all about how we come across when it comes to relationships. Of course, we're gonna have Sagittarius here, which is mutable and adaptable when it comes to fire. So fire is basically all about the future. They don't really care about the past. They don't care about what happened a couple days ago or a week ago or a day ago. We focus on what the fuck's going on right now. Because your spirit is basically always traveling. Your spirit ain't the moon. It don't deal with the feelings and emotions. Your spirit ain't the body. It don't deal with the actions. Your spirit is basically looking forward to see how new things can be reinvented, how new things can come across. That's why you look at it like this. We're going to use an example. Aries would be a cardinal, fire, aka initiating new ways on how to feel and see about the realm of realities, and of course the visions, and of course the develops systems, aka the trendsetters, on how they go about their day, and of course coming up with new experiences and new ways on how to express themselves. That's why they can't really stay in one spot. You can't really contain fire. You cannot control fire. You're gonna have Leos, aka the sun in the sky. Leos is fixed fire, but of course, their ways of being fixated is doing things in their own way. They don't want to change or switch anything up. The only thing they're gonna do, because of course fire can't be burned too long. Only thing they're gonna do is coming up with a new style, a new way of doing things. But of course, in their own fixated way, aka in their own old school kind of manner. And of course, you're gonna have motherfucking Sagittarius, which Sagittarius, okay, I'm here now, because you gotta have the imagination first, which is the fire cardinal, and of course, you gotta have the fixed fire. Okay, I've been fixated in this motherfucking circumstance situation for too damn long. I burned through every rim of reality. Now I'm mutable fire. Now I'm adaptable, so I'm gonna be able to adapt and be able to preach and teach my meanings and reasonings, my broad philosophical points of views and references all around the world. AKA that's what the Sagittarius do, all about expansion, Jupiter, wisdom. So now when we got this compatibility with the Gemini, see Gemini and Sagittarius, these are two zodiac signs that can actually get along. There won't be no circumstances and situations where they're fighting for this, fighting for that. It won't be a circumstance situation where two people, places, and things will be in context with each other, depending on the moons now. But when it comes to the actions, that's a whole different perspective. Now, when it comes to the moons, you're gonna feel the need to basically like pick these things up, and of course have these things in your perspectives. And of course, when it comes to the ascendants is going to feel the need to basically express these things unconsciously. And of course, they may not even know they're doing these things, but that's how it's going to play out. Now, when you have Gemini and Sagittarius, now when it comes to the sex is great, it's wonderful, it's passionate. But of course, these are two zodiac signs that's not going to really look at sex like it's something big. Feel me? As long as they got some wisdom, some knowledge, some preaching, some teachings behind their perspectives on how they basically communicate and intellect on the mental perspective, on the mental hemisphere, there won't be an issue. But of course, they don't really look at sex like it's very something serious. Like they look at sex like, okay, it's very playful, it's very fun and everything. But of course, I look at you like you're way more than sex to me. You're not like a sex toy. You're more like of a teacher or student. AKA it's gonna be like a teacher-student kind of sex thing. Because of course they're gonna be teaching each other. You're gonna be learning from each other. Of course, the two zodiac signs that's taken up. So they're gonna be learning about each other's bodies. They're gonna be learning about each other's experiences and surroundings and things of that matter. So they're gonna be coming up with whole broad philosophical points of views or preaching, teaching, meanings and reasonings. And of course, it's like they're gonna be just so connected, like because we about to have that full moon connected. That's how it's gonna play out. Because of course, it takes two. The sun will be the actions, and so of course the sun is in Gemini right now, so the sun will be the masculine right now. And of course, the moon will be in Sagittarius, which is the feminine side of things. We just using examples, but of course, Sagittarius is a masculine zodiac sign. But the sun will be the actions, aka the masculine, the man, and of course, the moon will be the feminine, the feelings, the woman. Now, takes two to create one. So this is a sextile that's coming together to create and form a child, aka a 90. Because you got 30, 60, and of course you got 90. Now you got three people. That's 90. So this is conflict. This is learning from each and one another. Because of course, death comes in threes. You got the birth, you got the life. Now you got the moms, which is going to basically increase the birth matters. but we're gonna look at it like it's Sagittarius right now, because it's the moon. That's the mother. That's your macabre, and of course you're gonna have the life, which is the sun. The sun gives life. The sun gives shine. The sun gonna shine on your ass. Of course you're gonna have death, which is the child that come out the vagina and come out here as a newborn baby and walk out here. Of course, that's where you're gonna have that perspective. Now you're gonna have the square, because everybody gonna learn from this experience. You know, so these experiences are gonna repeat. Now the child gonna be able to actually grow up, take care of itself, and of course be birthed and do the same shit all over the fuck again. Now, when it comes to trust issues, Gemini Sagittarius does not have a problem, because they can build on trust. They don't have issues where they're gonna be in a circumstance situation of they can't trust this person, they can't do that. See, Sagittarius, it may be very easy to figure out if a Sagittarius lying or not telling the truth. It can be easy, but if a Gemini have two different personalities, so they can be very good with lying and shit. They may not even know these things, because of course their mind is completely racing at humongous speeds. So it's gonna be kind of difficult, but of course they trust issues won't be an issue. Like, they don't really even look at it at that perspective. Not a relationship where they're gonna be like, okay, we need our space. These are two zodiac signs that don't really give a fuck. They can be underneath each other every day, underneath each other's nutsacks and vaginas every day. It's not gonna really be anything, as long as they learning, as long as shit ain't too stagnated, as long as shit is constantly moving, it ain't gonna be Gucci. And when it comes to intellect and communication, it's gonna be kind of difficult if these two don't have the same objective or subjective that they basically coming together to basically create. Because of course a Gemini can be mutable and adaptable with their ways of thinking and communicating and learning. Of course that's Mercury, which is the other side. And you know Mercury is kind of like opposite Saturn and Neptune, aka the Pisces and the Sagittarius. Sagittarius is more fire, more passionate. Pisces is more mutable, more water. Air is more of a Gemini perspective. And of course, the Earth will be more of a Virgo perspective. So it's gonna be a circumstance situation where if they don't have something to communicate about with each other, the relationship is kind of gonna be difficult, because it's like, yo, we're together, so we should be learning from each other. And of course, you know, the Sagittarius will open the eyes of the Gemini. And of course, the Gemini will be right up off their feet when it comes to intellect and information, when it comes to from the Sagittarius. Because of course, it's like true meanings and reasons right here. It's like the higher perspective will be Jupiter. And of course, the lower perspective would be Mercury. We ain't talking about a Gemini's low in level or status. We talking about a Gemini with Mercury, aka more head to earth. And of course, Jupiter's like way on the other side of the whole atmosphere type shit. So of course, when these two link up, they coming together, they coming to basically receive a new perspective on outlook, aka, you know, Jupiter love to go expanding but beyond the perspective. Of course, they fire. You can't contain fire. Fire is mutable. Fire is going to keep moving. Fire is going to keep going here, going there. Going to want to be basically be learning from a day-to-day perspective. So that's that perspective on that. What the fuck was that? Also, this is a relationship that's going to work because, you know, they value like learning, they value reading a book, they value philosophy, they value preaching, teaching. Of course, they value going on trips and planes. Of course, you can't keep these two in the house for too damn long. You can, of course, as long as they having fun with each other. But of course, they're gonna feel the need to basically, okay, we can try something new, try a new position, or try a new location, or try a new food, try a new thing. Of course, you know they're gonna overindulge. So yeah, this is two zodiac signs that can work together, especially if they got a spiritual perspective, spiritual path. What? They're gonna take off. And also, yeah, that's pretty much that perspective. And of course, is it two signs that can work together on a day-to-day basis? They can definitely work together. Like as long as everything is moving, as long as things is not stagnated or stable, like Earth, because you know Earth, when it comes to practicality, Sagittarius not really into that practical shit. Because of course you can't try to like teach fire. Fire is, you touch fire or talk to fire, it's gonna do its own fucking thing. You try to touch fire, because Earth is like a physical perspective. So if you're trying to like make fire practical, how? Like how? It's not gonna work. It's not gonna fucking work. Now, the sun is fixed. The sun is a fixed sign, fixed fire. So of course it's gonna be fixated in its own ways of doing things. Fixated, stubborn. So they're gonna be stubborn as fuck. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell the fixed sign anything. You can't tell a car no fire anything. That's like the area that you're gonna do what the fuck they want to do. You can't tell a Sagittarius anything about practicality. They're gonna come up with their own ways of seeing the bigger picture about things. So of course, it's like you can't really teach fire anything. Fire is like from the yin realm, the spiritual realm. Like, and the fire that you see is a whole different fire. There's many fires, of course. It's just one coin. Everything you see down here is like one piece of one perspective on all levels. But of course, everything is beyond. But of course, these are two zodiac signs that could definitely work out. They could definitely get something popping off and going on. So yeah, they definitely are for each other too, because everything will be like on a perspective as two people that's learning from each other on a day-to-day basis, and of course they can work together, get things going together. And yeah, they're very adventurous too. Of course, they will take risks, especially. But the only thing is, y'all both cannot be afraid to basically go above y'all limits. Fears will be the only thing that block y'all. And of course, Sagittarius is not like an emotional sign, and Gemini is not an emotional sign. Gemini is more in their mind. They were like, they don't deal with that shit. Like, a Sagittarius can bring the emotions out of a Gemini. A Gemini can actually bring emotions out of that Sagittarius, but they got to be open and be willing to basically not run away from the emotions, which can tarnish things. But of course, they can definitely work some shit out. But yeah, that's Gemini and Sagittarius right now in a nutshell.